Hello, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Politics on Naija Anchor News. Today, we have a very hot one in our hands. Yahaya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State, has finally surrendered after months on the run from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The man, who has been accused of siphoning over 80 billion from the state coffers, is now in custody, but the circumstances surrounding his surrender are raising more questions than answers. Yahaya Bello refused to honor the EFCC invitation earlier this year, setting off a high-stake manhunt. The EFCC Chairman himself, Ola Olukoyede, vowed to bring him in at all costs, which he has not done up to now. And now, months later, Bello has turned himself in. However, the surrender is not as clear-cut as it might seem. In a public statement on his Twitter handle, Bello mentioned that after consulting with his family and close allies, he decided to turn himself in, citing his respect for the rule of law. But the reality on the ground seems far more complex. Why now? What deal has possibly been brokered out behind closed doors? Has he struck some agreement with the powers that be? It's no secret that this administration has often been accused of harboring individuals with questionable characters, many of whom have corruption allegations hanging over their heads. Could Yahaya Bello's surrendering be part of a broader scheme to strike a bargain with the government, or is simply a calculated move by Bello to avoid lengthy court battle and possibly secure some kind of leniency? Let's not forget that Yahaya Bello was a contestant in last year's APC presidential primaries in 2023. Despite his political ambition, he lost, but his involvement in such a high-stake politics raises a deeper question. Is there a plan in motion to rehabilitate his image, clearing the way for a future comeback? On the flip side, is Yahaya Bello haunted because of his presidential ambition? Nigeria's political landscape has always been littered with stories of fallen politicians who, after facing serious corruption charges, somehow find their ways back to prominence. Take, for instance, the case of Oji Uzor Kalu, the former governor of Abia State. He was convicted and sentenced for financial misappropriation, only to be released on technical grounds. Today, he walks free, even retaining a powerful political position. Similarly, Dizaani Alice Maduke, the former Minister of Petroleum, is still facing corruption charges, but years later, no substantial progress has been made to bring her to justice. This case set a worrying precedent, and one can't help but wonder if Yahaya Bello is set to follow in their footsteps. The EFCC has a tough task ahead. Will they handle this case with the seriousness it deserves, or will we witness yet another high-profile corruption case swept under the rug? Already, there is speculation about the possibility of Bello being released on bail. If this happens, are we not opening the door for him to flee once again? After all, he has shown us before that he's willing to go to greater lengths to avoid accountability. The spotlight now is on EFCC, and this case will serve as a litmus test for how far we've come in fighting corruption in Nigeria. If Yahaya Bello walks free, it will only further erode public confidence in the government's willingness or ability to prosecute high-profile individuals. On the other hand, if the EFCC can push for a thorough investigation and trial, it could send a strong message that no one is above the law. As always, this is just our take on this unfolding drama. What do you think? Does Yahaya Bello's surrender marks the beginning of a real fight against corruption, or are we in for another round of political gymnastics? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's talk politics.